Hello, Evan here in the middle of week 5. Yes, we are officially past the halfway point of your spring bee term. Less than 4 weeks sit between us and the start of your summer break. So already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to encourage you to keep working hard and to finish strong. Now, I say that term a lot. I throw it out there all the time. So today I want to take it a step further and address a specific area that many students, might report having issues with from time to time, and that is those pesky online quizzes and exams that you have to take in some of your classes. Now, they are designed to be tough, but they're not supposed to be kind of like the end of the world or defining the whole course. Yet, I think sometimes students can maybe over exaggerate them in their heads and make it harder than they have to be. So, that is why today I want to go through some tangible things you can do to improve your scores on those individual assessments, and in turn, of course, boost your overall final grade in each of your classes. So if you'll indulge me, please keep watching. We'll go through all that stuff in just a second. If you have any questions about this video or really anything else at all, you definitely know how to get a hold of me at this point, so please do just that. All right, thank you so much and stay tuned. So here we are. Number 1, keep it in perspective. Now, I talk to a lot of students who will come to me on a Monday morning freaking out because they failed a quiz or did poorly on an exam, and now they think the entire class is ruined. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Most quizzes and exams make up the least amount of points that you can earn throughout the course. So I'm going to show you the breakdown, and this is from the syllabus. This is in every single class. You'll have a breakdown of what each assignment's worth to make up the total amount of points that you can earn in each of your classes. As you can see here in this example, the quizzes make up by far the smallest percentage of the overall points you can earn. Only 16% of the overall grade is coming from the quizzes in this class. So even if you bombed all the quizzes, you still have 84% of the points to earn elsewhere on your discussion forums and other assignments. So just as an exercise here to show you, to prove my point, I just went ahead and assumed you got a B on every other assignment. And let's just say you got a D, a 60% average on your quizzes, kind of worst case scenario. If you got a B on everything else, you're still going to finish a class overall in the B range, assuming you do terribly on the quizzes. Now, just to keep that in perspective, you can still easily pass the class with a good grade, even if you're the worst quiz taker in the world. So let's not let the quizzes define the entire course. And even if you aren't as strong on those assessments, you can at least know I can make up most of my grade through the other assignments I have. And even a couple bad grades won't define the entire class for you. Always read the instructions very carefully. When you go to open your quiz, there'll be a list of instructions at the top above where you go to start the actual quiz. Read through it carefully. It will tell you exactly what you're being quizzed on, the exact number of points the quiz is worth, how many questions there are, and how much time you have to complete the quiz. They'll also show you the deadline of when it's due and other important notes and information. Of course, you have the advantage of having your textbooks and notes in front of you as you're doing the quiz. So this is the time as you're going through the instructions, as you're preparing, to lay all that stuff out, get it all sorted out and organized ahead of time. Do it always before you even think about getting started. Number 3, give yourself extra time to complete the quiz or exam. So let's, for example, say that you read the instructions and you see that you have 30 minutes, 30-minute, half an hour window to complete the quiz. You know you have to complete 15 questions in that time frame, yet you want to make sure that you make the most of the time for each of those questions. So my suggestion is, instead of just allotting 30 minutes to do the quiz, set aside a full extra 15 minutes or so you have extra time at the front end to prepare. So set aside a 45-minute window for a 30-minute quiz. Use those first 15 minutes to go through all the notes, everything you've laid out for yourself already. Quickly skim and scan the material so some information is fresh in your mind. Now, obviously, you're not going to remember every single thing, and you will have to go back to your book at times. However, since you'll be able to answer some questions more quickly, you'll keep a quicker pace and allot yourself some extra time, some bonus time at the end to circle back or double check some of those tougher questions that you might have had to skip over. Keep in mind that each quiz closes at 11:55 p.m. sharp on Saturday night, so you should definitely be starting your quiz well before that time frame, definitely before 11, if not much earlier if you can. Finally, number 4, unstick yourself if you feel stuck on a particular question. Now, I talk to a lot of students that say they start out on a quiz, they start out very strong, they're cruising right along, and then they come across a certain question, but for whatever reason, they feel stumped. They're just stuck on it. Then they become almost borderline obsessed with finding the right answer for this particular question. They end up spending way too much time on the one answer, trying to find the exact right answer in the book or materials. And that really eats into those precious minutes and seconds they had to answer all the other questions they needed to answer. Then, as a result, because they wasted so much time on just one silly question, now they ended up rushing through the rest of the quiz and probably got a lot more answers wrong that they would have originally gotten right because they didn't have the adequate time to dedicate to each of those questions. So if you ever feel like you're stuck on a particular question, unstick yourself and simply move forward. Keep your pace at a good rate, keep going, answer the questions you definitely know first, and then anything that you're stuck on, you need to circle back to, you'll have that extra time towards the end to take your best educated guess. Remember, as we talked about earlier, one bad quiz grade isn't going to doom or really harm your overall final grade, right? So don't let one quiz question doom your overall quiz score because you spent way too much time focused on just one answer. Answer as many questions, get as many points as you can. And even if you do miss a few questions, so be it. It's way better than getting or missing a lot of questions and getting a couple questions right. So definitely keep that in mind as you're working through the quiz. And remember, always check your timer as you're going to make sure you're keeping a good pace so you have a sense of how long you're spending on each question. So to finally wrap things up here, I do have a couple bonus tips and strategies for you. First, believe it or not, I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything, but Google seems to do. They seem to know a lot. So I suggest type in things like how to take online quizzes or tips for online exams, something like that. And I know there's a lot of other universities and colleges out there that have put together a lot of great resources and materials for their students that I'm sure you could easily find and access online that might help you as well. Further, if you're struggling with the time management piece and budgeting your time and making a schedule, that's stuff you can always talk to me about. Of course, anything related to the course content itself, let's say you're reading something, it just wasn't clicking. Before you get to the weekend, before you start the quiz, obviously, go ahead, reach out to your instructors and ask them for clarifying questions. You never know, it might be able to clarify something for you in your mind. And that way, when you come across it on the quiz, it makes a lot more sense and you can answer the question more effectively. So I hope you found all this stuff helpful. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, certainly reach out to me. Best of luck as you keep working on those quizzes and exams, and I'll talk to you all soon.